This afternoon we're gathered up with three very good friends of mine and three folks that really probably need very little introduction to the beef industry, and certainly now the Hereford breed. We have Jirl Buck from Oklahoma, Todd Herman here also from Star Lake Ranch in Oklahoma, and Dave Allan from Texas. And guys, you all have had, well, two of the three, or all three of you have had kids that have been involved in this Hereford business and part of the fitting and showing and this and that. What are some of the benefits that you've seen with your daughter Bailey and participating in the Hereford Junior National?
Well, I think the first thing in fitting, I think the kids learn to appreciate the quality of the animal by grooming and realizing what difference that does make. Improving the appearance and working on the animals and putting the time in and the effort in it takes to make the animals look good.
Todd, how about you with Casey? What did you see from her development through the Hereford Junior National and perhaps even more specifically this part of the contest, or this part of the show?
She definitely came to appreciate, that it did make a difference in the way her cattle looked when she showed them. And she was very fortunate that she had some very good role models to help her along, and then with that was able to do it in her last year and be successful when it came to the showmanship and the fitting part of it, to be able to succeed in that part of that contest. So she was able to really grasp a lot of the good things of being able to present cattle from a lot of different angles.
Well, Dave, I'm going to ask you, your kids are a little bit younger and just getting started, and Dave is an ambassador for Karina and Show Chow, and Dave was the one who put on our fitting and demonstration clinic here earlier today. What were some of the interesting questions and some of the thoughts that you got from our young folks?
It was good. We had a lot of little kids, and we had some kids wondering about if they had a bigger navel, how should they clip it in? If they had a heifer that had more neck, how should they clip it in? And it was really interesting that some little kids came up with some really good information, things that I hadn't talked about that we were able to convey to the whole crowd.
Well, I want to ask you guys specifically, all three of you are involved in some of the most successful sales and show cattle operations in the country. Jirl and his family own Buck Cattle Company. And what kind of pre-preparation goes into getting one ready for a show or sale, Jirl?
Just as far as presenting that?
Yeah.
Well, one thing is, of course, naturally the nutrition is the first thing that you got to have is have the proper nutrition and be able to bring those animals along and get them to the level of their highest level or highest potential, and then trying to clip them and present them and have their hair in the right quality and just present them to their fullest.
What about you folks at Star Lake, Todd? How long prior to a sale does it take to get one ready to go?
You can go back as far as from baby calves. It all starts with obviously getting them calved and then being able to see what those cattle need and be able to apply that or have it available to them, like Jirl said, nutritionally, and just help that quality along. And with that, and then just hire really competent and good people to get them ready when the time is needed, and it makes a real difference.
Sure. Dave, I'm going to ask you specifically, I know we've talked about this before, you and I. Give us a couple of tips for these kids that are doing this on their own at home and getting prepared for the Hereford Junior National or any show. What's a few of the things that you want to do on a daily basis to get an animal ready?
I think the one thing it's preparation. The kids probably, I would say even the kids that won in our contest today, the calf that they used has been rinsed for probably several months every day, and the hair blown properly and brushed properly. They've applied show sheen and conditioners and things like that. And again, on the nutrition side, if they're not fed properly, they have to be fed to their optimum, not their maximum, to get them in the right condition. So, but that daily care of rinsing them, working their hair, keeping them cool, enough exercise, feeding a lot of hay so you create enough volume, things like that. If you don't do that at home, you can't be competitive when you get here.
Sure. I know it was interesting. I know as a kid growing up, guys, I had people that I watched and I looked and I learned from, and I think we probably are all in the same boat of what we've done. If you were to name one person that kind of give you some guidance and someone you looked up to when you started, I'm going to ask each one of you, Jirl, who would that be?
One person. Probably the person that had the most influence on myself would have been Bobby May.
Sure. You bet. We kind of know who that guy is, don't we?
Yep,
Todd?
I'd say he probably had the strongest influence.
Well, I don't know if I can name just one, because when I first started, I didn't know crap. and there was a lot of people that helped me out. I mean, just to name one.
Sure. Todd, does it make good sense for some of these young folks to go find somebody that they appreciate or enjoy and just watch them do some fitting? Does that make logical sense to you?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But don't keep yourself in a box.
Sure.
Get outside the box. And don't be scared to go watch someone else, even though you think this other person is the best.
Yeah,
and, and the biggest thing or the biggest key is don't ever think that you're the best.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, it's interesting because I think 2 out of the 3 of you guys that are standing here have actually helped my sons a little bit, or your crews, and that is very interesting because as parents we all understand that maybe as we tell our children something, maybe they don't necessarily believe it from us, but they're not afraid to go and learn from some of you guys. And tell me, would you be afraid to take a young guy and give him some tips?
Anytime, because that's how I learned. I asked a lot of people and spent a lot of time doing it. And I mean now we field phone calls and emails, and I'm glad to help because I never would have learned anything if people wouldn't have me along.
Well, and I know at Star Lake, Todd, you guys even put on some clinics, don't you, during some of your sale times and things like that for some of the fitting and feeding and so on and so forth. So these are all great opportunities. Well, listen, it's a pleasure to be here with all 3 of you, and I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to share some thoughts with some of our young people. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.